Hello everyone. So we are doing series solution for differential equations of some particular type. So in previous video we did series solutions for Bessel's equation and the function which is known as Bessel's function. So today we are going to do one important property of Bessel's function, that is called orthogonality property of Bessel's function. So this property says that if alpha and beta are two distinct roots of j and x. What is j and x? It is Bessel's function. J and x equal to 0. Then integration over x 0 to 1 x jn alpha x jn beta x dx. This integral becomes 0 if both values are same. That means these are distinct. If these are not same, then if it becomes 1 by 2 jn alpha whole square if alpha is equal to beta. So basically what is the meaning? That if these two roots are repeated, then this is the value. If these roots are not repeated, they are different, then that value becomes 0. So before starting this, let's recall what is Bessel's equation. So what is Bessel's equation? Bessel's equation is x square d2y by dx square. Here I have written in different notation. X square d2y by dx square plus x dy by dx plus x square minus n square y equal to 0. This is Bessel's equation of order n. When we solve this equation, we get the solution in terms of Bessel's function. So Bessel's function in general is denoted by j and x, and the other value we find, that is j minus nx. Okay. So when we write the solution for this equation, that is some constant y equal to a j and x plus b j minus nx, that we have done in previous video. Now let's generalize this equation. If this equation is in this form, x square y double dash plus x y dash plus lambda square x square, that means x is multiplied with some constant here, minus n square y, then one of the root becomes j and lambda x. This is the relation between this. So if we change x here to some multiple of some constant, then this solution also takes the similar form. So then this solution becomes j and x becomes j and lambda x. Okay. So the solution now in the same format, how can we write the solution? Y equal to c1 jn. Now it becomes lambda x plus c2 j minus n lambda x. Now what is j and x? What was the value of that Bessel's function? It was summation over r varying from 0 to infinity minus 1 power r divided by gamma n plus r plus 1 x by 2 power n plus 2r. This is the value for Bessel's function. So if I have to write the value for lambda x, then what will be the value? That will be summation over r, since we are changing in x. So other values remain same, minus 1 power r divided by gamma n plus r plus 1. Now x becomes lambda x by 2 whole power n plus 2r. So this is the generalization of Bessel's equation, and accordingly the solution, Bessel function also we have generalized. So whatever equation is given in this form, we can accordingly manage to write the solution for that particular equation. Now we will use this property to prove this orthogonality. So now let's get back to the orthogonality property. So now we have to prove the orthogonality property of Bessel's function. So we have already written the statement that alpha beta are the two distinct roots. Then we have to prove that this integral becomes 0 when both are not same, and this is equal to 1 by 2 j and alpha whole square if both are same. So that question may be asked that state and prove orthogonality property. So you should remember the statement. So in that case you have to write the statement first and then prove it, or that may be given directly that prove that this is equal to this, then you have to write the proof for this property. Okay. So let's start with this. So since it says that if alpha and beta are the roots for this equation, so let's assume that these are the roots for j and alpha x, j and alpha x and Jn beta x are the root for which equation? Just now we discussed that if Jn lambda x is there, then that x becomes lambda x in that equation. So we can write the equations for these solutions as x square y double dash x y dash plus, now it becomes alpha square x square minus n square y is equal to 0. This is equation 1. And similarly x square y double dash x y dash plus beta square x square minus n square y is equal to 0, 2 respectively. That means first root is the solution for first equation, second root is the solution for second equation. Okay, now just assume that u is equal to Jn alpha x and v is equal to Jn beta x. This assumption is just for the convenience of writing. It doesn't have any other significance, just we are writing it for the convenience. So now if u and v we have taken like that are the solutions, are the roots for these equations, that means these roots will satisfy this equation. That means if I substitute y equal to u in first equation and y equal to v in second equation, this will satisfy this equation. So this implies that x square u double dash x u dash plus alpha square x square minus n square u is equal to 0. And similarly substituting v in second equation, x square v double dash x v dash beta square x square minus n square v is equal to 0. So this is 3 and this is 4. Now we have got these two equations. Now we can take the reference from the property which we are going to prove, that what we should do next. See this property, what we have to find, what we have to get here, we have to get product of these two functions. Okay, to reach to this property somewhere we should get product of these two functions, alpha x, Jn, beta x. That means product of u and v. How we can find product of u and v? See, in first equation we have only u, second equation, I mean third and fourth equation we have only v. So we have to multiply first equation with v and second equation with u, then only we can get the product of these two. And we don't want n here. So how we can remove that n? By subtracting. So this is a clue how we should think ahead. Okay. So writing here multiplying 2 by v and 3, it is not 2, this is 3 by v and 4 by u and subtracting. Okay. So if we do that, let's see what we are getting. So I am getting here x square, first term is x square, since both the term x square is common, u double dash is multiplied with v minus v double dash is multiplied with u plus x u dash v minus v dash u plus next alpha square x square minus n square minus beta square x square minus n square u and v. Okay. So this equation, how I am getting, you can go step by step, multiply this with u, v first, then this with u, write down two more equations and then subtract, or directly you can understand each term, which term is common, I have taken common and accordingly I have written. So let's simplify this furthermore, x square u double dash v minus v double dash u, x u dash v minus v dash u plus, if we open the bracket there, what we are getting, n square will get cancelled because of this negative sign and x square will be constant. So alpha square minus beta square x square uv This is what we are getting after simplifying this. Now we see that throughout x is common. So if we take this x common throughout, that will be resolved, and we can separate this uv term from this equation. So I can write this beta square minus alpha square x uv is equal to x square u double dash v minus v double dash u plus x u dash v minus v dash u. So what I have done, I have changed this side. I have taken this on right hand side. That means sign will change. So I have changed this position of alpha square and beta square. So it has become beta square minus alpha square. X is throughout changed. So I can write x uv is equal to 1 by beta square minus alpha square. That is what I have got. Now you see this term. Oh, x I have already cancelled here. So x should not be there since 1x is already cancelled throughout. Okay. Now you see right hand side values only. What I am getting. This looks like differentiation of product of two functions. If you see clearly, if you just keenly if you observe, x is here but x is not there. So that means here we have differentiated x. So that is why it is not there. So it should be differentiation of first function second as it is, differentiation of second function first as it is. Of this form it should be there, which you can verify. So if you observe it properly, this is the product of x u dash v minus v dash u. This term you should verify on your own. You expand this, differentiate this one, and you see whether you are getting it or not. Okay. So we have reached to this step. Now you see this. Is it matching to the property? We are getting x u. U means j and alpha x. V means j and beta x. So we have reached to left hand side value. Now what is left? We have to integrate this within the limit 0 to 1. So let's integrate this within the limit 0 to 1. Okay. So let's integrate this equation to get the desired form. So right here integrating within the limit 0 to 1 with respect to x. So if we integrate this, what we are getting? 0 to 1 x uv dx is equal to 1 by beta square minus alpha square. This is constant, and then right hand side whenever we integrate, the differentiation sign gets removed. Differentiation and integration are inverse of each other. Okay. So when if any derivative is there on integration, their derivative order of differentiation starts reducing. So it is 1, so it will get removed. So what we are getting on right hand side, the final value will be x u v dash minus v u dash limits 0 to 1. Here limit is 0 to 1. Okay. It is u dash v minus v dash u. Okay. So here you change the sign, u dash v minus v dash u. So after integration we have applied the limit also 0 to 1. X is 0 to 1 both the side. Now again, what are u and v here? U and v are j and alpha x and j and beta x. So let's substitute that in original form. So left hand side becomes 0 to 1 x j n alpha x j n beta x dx. Right hand side is 1 by beta square minus alpha square x j n dash. Now what is j n dash? So let's find out what is j n dash. If I differentiate j n alpha x with respect to x, what I would be getting? Differentiation of this function by chain rule and then differentiation of this. So alpha j n dash alpha x. Similarly for beta x, what we would be getting? That will be beta j n dash beta x. So these are the values for the derivative. So now what is this? This is u dash and this is v dash. So let's substitute these values here. So what we are getting? U dash is alpha jn dash alpha x into v, that is jn beta x, minus v dash. V dash is beta jn dash beta x into u, that is jn alpha x. So we have got this value of right hand side. Now limit is 0 to 1. So apply this limit. So when we apply the limit, when we substitute upper limit, what we are getting? 1 by beta square minus alpha square. When we put x equal to 1, this is 1. So we are getting alpha jn dash alpha, since x is 1, and jn beta minus beta jn dash beta and jn alpha. Then we substitute lower limit, minus, when we put x equal to 0 here, that whole terms become 0. So we get the resultant as this. So let's number it. Equation number 5. Now you see this property, orthogonal property says 0 to 1 x jn alpha x jn beta x dx must be equal to 0 for alpha not equal to beta, and 1 by 2 jn dash alpha square for alpha is equal to beta. So we have reached to left hand side. Now we have to discuss both the cases one by one for right hand side. So let's take case 1. Case 1, when alpha is not equal to beta. So case 1 we are considering when alpha is not equal to beta. So consider right hand side. When alpha is not equal to beta, denominator is non-zero. Now we have to see numerator value. So what are alpha and beta here? What are alpha and beta? If you read the orthogonal property again, alpha and beta are the roots of jnx is equal to 0. These are the roots for jnx equal to 0. This is any function. Whenever we substitute, we equate any function with 0, that becomes equation. So that will give roots. So we have assumed that these are the roots for this equation. That means these will satisfy this equation. So that means jn alpha is 0 and jn beta is 0. How I have written this? Since these are the roots of this equation by the property, by the statement of this property. So these must satisfy this equation. So I have substituted the value. So we are getting this. Now again check right hand side. So right hand side of 5. We are considering numerator, denominator is non-zero. Numerator is, if I substitute these values here, jn beta is 0, jn alpha is 0. So numerator becomes 0. So 0 divided by non-zero value, that means right hand side is 0. So what does the property says? When alpha is not equal to beta, this integral must be equal to 0. So that first part we have proved. Okay. Now let's consider second part. Second part says when alpha is equal to beta. So when alpha is equal to beta, using this value, numerator is 0 and now denominator has also become 0. So what we are getting? So right hand side becomes 0 by 0 form. Correct? Numerator is 0 because of this property and denominator is 0 since now we are considering alpha is equal to beta. So it is 0 by 0 form. Whenever we reach to 0 by 0 form, which formula we have to apply? We have to apply L'Hospital rule, L'Hopital rule also sometimes we call it. So L'Hospital rule, which says differentiation of numerator divided by differentiation of denominator. So right hand side is limit. Now what is the limit here? When alpha is approaching to beta. When alpha tends to beta, when both becomes same, then only it becomes 0 by 0 form. So alpha approaches to beta, and on which property, which value we are applying this? Jn dash alpha jn beta minus beta Jn dash beta Jn alpha divided by beta square minus alpha square. This is 0 by 0 form, correct? You can check. This is what we are doing here, 0 by 0 form. Now we have to differentiate. Now whenever we have to differentiate with respect to one variable. Now which is the variable here? With respect to which variable you would differentiate here? Okay. Now generally we differentiate with respect to x, but x is not there. So you recall the property of L'Hospital rule, indeterminate form, you will understand. In L'Hospital rule or indeterminate form, what happens when x tends to something, then we differentiate with respect to x. So what is x here? X is alpha. So we have to differentiate with respect to alpha here. Okay. So differentiate with respect to alpha. So when alpha is the variable, beta will be constant. Okay. So let's differentiate this function with respect to alpha. So what we are getting? Here you should remember that I have taken limit alpha approaching to beta. You can take beta approaching to alpha, one and the same thing. Since we are going for alpha is equal to beta. So finally whatever we are getting is alpha, we can replace it for beta also and vice versa. So let's differentiate with respect to alpha. So here which are the functions of alpha? This and this. This is constant. So alpha by products, if I differentiate, differentiation of alpha is 1. So I am getting Jn dash alpha Jn beta plus differentiation of Jn dash alpha would be alpha Jn double dash alpha and Jn beta. So this is the differentiation of first term with respect to alpha. Then in second term, this is beta, this is beta. So both are constant. We have to differentiate only one term. So what we are getting? Beta Jn dash beta. This is the constant term. And differentiation of Jn alpha would be Jn dash alpha. Divided by differentiation of beta square is 0 and differentiation of minus alpha square is minus 2 alpha. Okay. And now you see what are Jn beta? What is the value of Jn beta? By the previous property here only we have proved that Jn beta is 0. So this first term becomes 0, second term becomes 0. So we are left with last term only. So I can write here limit alpha tends to beta minus beta Jn dash beta Jn dash alpha divided by minus 2 alpha. And here we can mention that since Jn beta is 0. Now you apply the limit, put alpha is equal to beta or beta is equal to alpha, whatever you want. So this minus minus sign is cancelled. So we are getting here beta Jn beta Jn dash beta divided by 2 beta. So beta beta is cancelled. What we are getting here? 1 by 2 Jn dash beta whole square, or I can write this as 1 by 2 Jn dash alpha whole square, since alpha is equal to beta for this case. So we have proved that when alpha is equal to beta, this integral is equal to 1 by 2 Jn dash alpha whole square, and when this is not same, then value is 0. So here we complete the proof of orthogonality property. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Please note it down and go through it again and again to understand it better.